A chance to inherit $100 billion fortune just by calling someone dad. A man shouldn't let dignity get in the way of money, but my Kevin voluntarily gave up and chose to let me say it. I instantly understood Kevin had also experienced a second chance. This was because in the previous life, when the wealthiest man came to their old place to adopt a child, Kevin was the first to grovel, but he was sent to prison by the true heir, who was found shortly after enjoying a few days of leisure. I, on the other hand, after studying hard against the odds, successfully gained the favor of the wealthiest man's daughter and reached the top. Kevin believed I had stolen his life, found an opportunity, held on to me, and jumped from a tall building, taking us both down. Recalling this, the killing intent in my eyes intensified. My rebirth was thanks to him. In a previous life, my father lost his life saving someone. Mom couldn't raise 2 sons alone, so she sought help from the media, hoping for kind people to sponsor their family. Unexpectedly, this matter reached the ears of the wealthy elite. Mr. Sterling, with a hidden agenda, came to their old place and proposed adopting a son. Kevin dreamed of being rich, especially when he learned Mr. Sterling only had a daughter. He desperately wanted to be adopted. Susan favored Kevin and usually distorted the truth in front of Mr. Sterling. In the end, Kevin got his wish and became Mr. Sterling's adopted son, but he didn't know that he, the adopted son, was just a tool Mr. Sterling used to build his image as a philanthropist. Not only that, but Mr. Sterling had a secret son, and Kevin, as an imposter, was certainly not favored at home. Ultimately, because he tried to harm Mr. Sterling's biological son, Mr. Sterling himself sent him to prison. Meanwhile, I, his Leo, understudied hard against the odds, successfully gained guaranteed admission to a prestigious university, completed a combined bachelor's and master's program, became a rare talent, and won over Olivia's heart. I eventually married the wealthy heiress and naturally took over the family business, reaching the top. Years later, Kevin was released from prison. Learning all of this, extreme hatred consumed him. Kevin believed that if Leo had been adopted instead, he would be the one who reached the top. Kevin harbored resentment, then found an opportunity, held on to Leo, and jumped from a tall building, taking them both down. Recalling this, the killing intent in Leo's eyes grew stronger. From beginning to end, he, the Leo, had never wronged this Kevin. He even wished for Kevin to do well, but this Kevin had personally taken his life. Just then, Kevin pulled Susan over. "Mr. Sterling," he said, "I just discussed it with my mom. My Leo can't handle hardship. He's always wanted to be rich since he was little, so I've decided to give this opportunity to my Leo." Kevin put on a humble and sensible facade in front of Mr. Sterling while subtly putting Leo down. "Are you sure you want to give this opportunity to your Leo?" Mr. Sterling showed a look of appreciation. "I'm sure. My mom can't bear to part with me, and my dad is gone. I have to stay to carry on the family legacy." Kevin looked at Leo. "Leo, you should go with Mr. Sterling. From now on, you'll live the life you've always wanted. Leo, hurry and call him Dad." Hearing Kevin's words, Leo was even more certain that Kevin had also experienced a second chance. In this new life, he seemed to want to swap lives with him. Leo feigned surprise. "Kevin, are you sure? At this point, stop pretending to be reserved. You're going to be the son of the house." Leo sneered inwardly. In this rebirth, he wouldn't show any more mercy to this vicious brother. He would make him pay. "Alright, since Kevin is so sensible, I can't let his good intentions go to waste." Hearing Leo agree, Kevin visibly relaxed. "Since you've decided, I'll talk about my requirements for a son." Mr. Sterling's gaze shifted to Leo. "As my son, I will train you to be my successor, giving you the ability to manage the company and business. This means you'll have to completely give up your previous life, including school and studying. Can you do that?" In his previous life, Kevin was ecstatic when he heard the word successor, naively believing the Sterling family's business would be his someday. He didn't know there was a big trap waiting for him. Leo, who understood the situation, didn't rush to agree, but Kevin couldn't hold back. "Leo, are you stupid? No matter how much you study, you'll end up working for rich people anyway. Now you're becoming rich directly, why study?" At these words, both Leo and Mr. Sterling looked at Kevin. Realizing he had said something wrong, Kevin quickly tried to explain. "What I mean is, my Leo isn't very good at studying anyway. It doesn't matter whether he studies or not. It's not like me, who can just take a test and be at the top of the class. Right, Mom?" To add credibility, Kevin pulled Susan into it. "Oh, yes, Leo isn't very good at studying, unlike Kevin. Kevin is the one meant for studying." Leo truly admired the mother and son's ability to twist the truth. He never understood why, as both were sons, she only favored Kevin. It wasn't until Susan passed away in the previous life that Leo learned he was born to his father's previous wife and wasn't Susan's biological son. Susan didn't dare reveal this fact, fearing Leo wouldn't support her later. "If that's the case, then this child, Leo, is entrusted to me," Mr. Sterling said. "Although I can only adopt one child, I will also sponsor the other child's tuition." Mr. Sterling glanced at his watch. It's getting late, I'll take Leo with me now. Thank you so much, Mr. Sterling. Take care. Watching them leave, Susan dropped the smile on her face and said earnestly to Kevin, "Oh, my silly son, don't cry anymore. This was a chance to become the son of the Who's, and you just gave it to your Leo? Mom, you don't understand. It might seem like I'm losing now, but the Sterling family's business will be mine eventually." Kevin's face showed a triumphant smile. Thinking of how miserable his life was later in his previous life, the resentment in Kevin's heart deepened. This time, let his good Leo take his place and live that rotten life. In the Rolls-Royce Phantom, Leo glanced at Mr. Sterling, who was also sitting in the back seat. "Dad, where are we going?" Mr. Sterling was momentarily stunned by the address. "You adapted quickly. You were my father-in-law for a few years in the previous life. I got used to calling you that." "Of course, I'm quick," Leo replied. "Since I'm here, I'll make the best of it. Since you've chosen to adopt me, I need to adapt quickly." Mr. Sterling nodded, satisfied. "From what I know, you've always done well at school." Leo wasn't too surprised by Mr. Sterling's words. Since he decided to come to adopt a son, he must have sent people to investigate beforehand. So, in the face of Kevin and Susan's distortion of facts, Leo hadn't chosen to argue. "You don't have a good relationship with your mom and Kevin?" Mr. Sterling asked again. "When I was little, Mom and Dad lived separately for a few years due to work. I lived with Dad, and Kevin lived with Mom. That's why Mom did those things," Leo said vaguely, leaving some room for imagination. "But I don't quite understand. If that's the case, why didn't your mom give this opportunity to Kevin?" A chill ran down Leo's spine. Mr. Sterling was indeed worthy of being the wealthiest man, with a meticulous mind and wisdom beyond ordinary people. He could immediately see the problem. It seemed he still needed to be careful around him. "I'm not too sure either. Maybe Kevin just couldn't bear to leave Mom." Mr. Sterling didn't continue the topic. "Later, I'll take you to a press conference venue to announce your existence." Hearing about the press conference venue, Leo's eyes glazed over. In the previous life, Mr. Sterling also immediately took Kevin to a press conference venue, announcing Kevin's existence. Kevin even thought Mr. Sterling valued him and truly saw him as a son. But Mr. Sterling had other plans. First, he wanted to use this event to showcase his positive social influence as a philanthropist. Second, he wanted someone in the shadows to see that he had adopted a son. This press conference venue was only beneficial to Mr. Sterling, but it was harmful to his son, who was affected. Leo, who had no relation to Mr. Sterling, had gotten incredibly lucky and become the wealthiest man's son. This would not only cause a stir in society but also invite much jealousy and envy, and he would have to face the pressure of public opinion, losing even his privacy. In his previous life, Kevin hadn't realized these drawbacks and spouted nonsense at the press conference venue, resulting in merciless mockery and criticism from the media and public. Netizens even dug up a bunch of his bad deeds. This impacted the Sterling household's influence, or perhaps led to their gradual disgust towards him, step by step ignoring him and letting him fall into depravity and fend for himself. Thinking it over, since he couldn't avoid it, he might as well find a way to turn this bad situation into a good one, or at least minimize the negative impact. "Mr. Sterling, I'll follow your arrangements for the press conference venue. It's just that thinking about facing so many reporters and cameras makes me nervous. What if I make a mistake and embarrass you?" Leo deliberately showed a nervous and anxious look to Mr. Sterling. Leo's words immediately made Mr. Sterling realize some uncertain factors he hadn't considered. "Let's head back to the mansion first. We'll hold the press conference venue a few days later." Leo feigned surprise. "I'll arrange for reliable media and a public relations team to train you and teach you how to handle it." "Thank you, Dad." Leo sighed in relief. He had taken the right step. He successfully made Mr. Sterling consider more details and bought himself more preparation time. Just then, Leo's phone received a message. "Leo, what are you doing now? If Mr. Sterling announces you as his son, don't be timid and embarrass Mr. Sterling. Speak boldly, he likes ambitious people. Also, I checked, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, likes durian the most. When you enter the house for the first time, remember to buy a durian as a gift." Along with the message was a transfer of 200 yuan. Seeing the message from Kevin, Leo inwardly sneered again. Kevin truly wanted him dead. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, detested things with strong odors, especially something as pungent as durian, which could cause severe reactions like vomiting. Kevin's specific instruction to buy it was extremely malicious. He even thoughtfully transferred 200 yuan, perhaps fearing that Leo didn't have money. Leo accepted the transfer immediately and replied, "Okay, thank you, Kevin." Meanwhile, on the other side, Kevin saw Leo's reply, and a cold smile appeared on his face. Leo, your life in the Sterling household won't be easy from now on, he asked, believing that being Mr. Sterling's son makes him the successor to the Sterling household. Not knowing he's just a tool Mr. Sterling is using, Kevin opened his hand, then clenched it tightly, his eyes filled with determination. Only those who adapt can become the true successors of the Sterling household. At the entrance of Sunshine Children's home, Kevin, wearing a baseball cap, peered inside stealthily from the gate. They're here, they're here. Get ready. As Kevin finished speaking, the two people he brought immediately stood by the entrance and started talking loudly. Did you know? Leo was adopted by the wealthiest man. What? No way. It's true. I even have a photo of him with the wealthiest man, Kevin said, while glancing towards the entrance from the corner of his eye. He saw a figure who was about to step out suddenly stop. Seeing this, Kevin's face showed a strange smile, and then he spoke even louder. Originally, the wealthiest man was going to adopt his top student, Kevin, but he threatened Kevin in various ways just to get the adoption opportunity because he wanted to be rich. They say his monthly allowance will be no less than 500,000 yuan. I heard Mrs. Sterling is frugal and kind. How could she agree to give him so much allowance? Mrs. Sterling? He doesn't care about Mrs. Sterling at all. He heard Mrs. Sterling is allergic to durian and specifically bought one to give her a taste of his power. This Leo is a scumbag. All right, stop talking. If Leo finds out, he'll retaliate. Seeing that it was enough, they quickly signaled to the others to leave. After they left, the figure at the entrance slowly walked out. It was a woman around 40 years old. Although she was dressed modestly, she couldn't hide her elegant demeanor and noble bearing. Every movement exuded grace. The woman waved to the person behind her. Mrs. Sterling, please give your instructions. Go investigate what they were just saying. Yes, Mrs. Sterling. A knowing smile appeared on Kevin's lips, hidden in the shadows. This woman was none other than Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, the wife of the wealthiest man, Mr. Sterling. Relying on his understanding of her from the previous life, Kevin knew she often visited this orphanage to do charity work in disguise, so he had specifically brought people to wait here. Thinking of how Leo would be disliked by Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, and struggle in the Sterling household, Kevin couldn't help but want to laugh. Everything was developing according to his plan. However, he still needed to find someone else. Mrs. Sterling, I've made some inquiries. At school, Leo has a better reputation than Kevin. Also, Leo did go to a bookstore before returning to the mansion. Hearing this, Mrs. Sterling's expression changed. She would go back and see what kind of challenge this adopted Leo was going to pose. At the wealthiest man's mansion, it took Leo over an hour just to be shown around. This is your room, the maid said, leading Leo to a room on the second floor. Leo went inside and saw the room was very neat and clean. It seemed it had been prepared beforehand. Just then, Brenda suddenly received a call. Young master, Mrs. Sterling is back. She wants you to come downstairs first. Leo nodded, picked up the things he had prepared, and went downstairs. In the building lobby on the first floor, Leo saw Mr. Sterling already sitting on the sofa. Next to him sat Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor. Leo walked up to them and politely addressed them. Mr. Sterling nodded and turned to introduce him. This is my wife, your mom from now on. Hello, Mom. My name is Leo. Leo greeted Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's reaction was very cold. Call me Mrs. Sterling. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's words drew Mr. Sterling's gaze, but he didn't say anything. Leo was very clear about his position. To them now, he was like an outsider. Mr. Sterling didn't need to argue with his wife for an outsider like him. More importantly, adopting him was entirely Mr. Sterling's idea. Although Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, didn't openly object, she certainly wouldn't support it, especially if she had heard something. Leo had already noticed Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's gaze occasionally falling on the item in his hand. Hello, Mrs. Sterling. Leo obediently followed her instruction. What do you have in your hand? Hearing Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's question, Leo answered truthfully, it's fruit. The item in Leo's hand was wrapped in packaging. From the outside, it looked like the shape of a durian. Thinking of what she had heard at the Sunshine Children's home entrance, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's expression became increasingly displeased. Asterisk, he's prepared a durian? Is this a show of disrespect? Asterisk, is that prepared for me? Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's tone was cold. Leo nodded and held out the item with both hands. I don't have much money, so I just bought 2 fruits. I hope you don't mind. Before Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, could say anything, Mr. Sterling spoke. Having the thought is what matters. As for money, since you are my son, I won't let you lack money in the future. You'll get a monthly allowance of 100,000 yuan. Just as Leo was about to speak, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's voice of refusal was heard first. I disagree. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, looked at Leo coldly. You don't think being adopted here means you get to live the life of a son of the house, do you? Being the wealthiest man's son isn't as simple as you imagine. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's last sentence seemed to have a hidden meaning. Leo was thinking about how to respond, but Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, mistook his silence for nervousness. She swept a glance at Leo and the item in his hand with a look of disdain, like looking at garbage. Brenda, throw away what he's holding. What are you standing there for? Eleanor, what are you doing? Mr. Sterling suddenly spoke with displeasure. Some children aren't as simple as you think. You can be kind, but be careful not to be deceived by people with ulterior motives. Mr. Sterling's face grew more displeased. He wanted to say more, but Leo spoke up. Mrs. Sterling, Mr. Sterling, please don't argue. What are you doing? Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, looked at him, frowning. But I have something I want to say. Please give me a chance. Mr. Sterling nodded. Perhaps there was disdain in Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor's eyes. She wanted to see what this adopted son was up to. 100,000 yuan a month allowance? I don't need it, but I have a small request. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, sneered inwardly. Asterisk as expected, he just wants to use the 100,000 yuan allowance as leverage for a better deal for himself. Asterisk, what makes you think you're qualified to make demands of us? Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, had already decided in her heart that she would drive this ill-intentioned child out. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sterling. Even if it can't be granted, I want to try. Leo's words piqued Mr. Sterling's curiosity. Tell me. I want to take the college entrance exam. Leo's words surprised both of them. Mr. Sterling frowned. Did you forget what I told you before? I remember. I will give up my studies as you require, but I want to have the chance to take the college entrance exam, to put a punctuation mark on my school days, Leo explained. I cannot agree to this request. You are in your senior year of high school and have more than half a semester left. Taking the exam directly will affect your scores. Plus, your identity is different now. Anything you do is likely to be scrutinized by the media. Mr. Sterling didn't give Leo another chance to argue. Leo understood Mr. Sterling's concern that a low score would embarrass him. But in his previous life, he was guaranteed admission to a top university without taking the college entrance exam. After the exam was over, he found the exam videos online and did them all, scoring 726 out of a possible 750. Even if he didn't attend school in this life, he could get into a good university based on his memories from the previous life. Leo was very clear about his current situation. He was nominally the wealthiest man, but in reality, he was just a pawn being used. He might not know Mr. Sterling had a secret son. A man who could become the wealthiest man had methods beyond ordinary people's imagination. He came back to adopt a son not only to create a good public image but also for this secret son. From his understanding in the previous life, this secret son resented Mr. Sterling for some reason, which was why Mr. Sterling came up with this method of adopting a son to create a sense of crisis for his biological son, thereby stimulating him to return to his side. Knowing this, Leo knew he wouldn't have a good outcome staying in this house. He had to leave the Sterling household. The best way to leave the Sterling household quickly and secure his future was to get into university. At this moment, Leo was brainstorming. He had to find a way to get a chance to attend university. Dad, I just want to. No need to say more. I'll add another 100,000 to your allowance, making it 200,000 a month. Give up this idea. Hearing Mr. Sterling's words, Leo surprisingly relented. Okay, Dad, I'll listen to you, but I need to open a new bank card to receive the monthly allowance. After speaking, Leo looked at Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor. He deliberately added something to that look, making it appear like a strange, challenging gaze. As expected, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, immediately couldn't sit still. She had indeed underestimated this Leo. Using a feigned refusal tactic, he had increased his monthly allowance from 100,000 to 200,000. What a scheme! Eleanor, are you determined to go against me? Mr. Sterling's expression turned serious. He reached out and rubbed his temples, then instructed Brenda beside him. Brenda, take Leo to rest first. Yes, young master. Please follow me. Leo nodded and left with Brenda. Less than half an hour after Leo returned to his room, there was a knock on his door. Opening the door, he was surprised to see Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor. Leo looked astonished. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, walked past him directly and sat down in his room. You can only spend 3,000 yuan a month. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, was confident he wouldn't agree. He would never give up the 200,000 yuan monthly allowance and choose 3,000 yuan a month just for a college entrance exam. It was ridiculous. She tightly clutched the phone behind her back. She had turned on the recording function before coming in. She planned to expose Leo's true colors later in lieu. He Mr. Sterling see what kind of person the adopted son he had taken in was. Thank you, Mrs. Sterling. What? Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, was slightly confused by Leo's sudden agreement. I'm willing. Although Leo's expression didn't show much, he was ecstatic inside. Asterisk, this foster mother is helpful. She's making it happen for me, asterisk unexpectedly, Leo agreed. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, composed herself slightly. Asterisk oh, he's pretending now. I'll see how long he can keep it up, asterisk if you violate the agreement. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, paused, a coldness appearing on her gracious face. I'll have you kicked out. With this recording, the outside world couldn't criticize them either, as it would be because of his poor character. I understand, Mrs. Sterling. Leo still marveled inwardly. This Mrs. Sterling is truly a saint. He had thought she wouldn't give him any money. To think she would still give him 3,000 yuan a month. His upkeep and expenses in the Sterling household were all covered, so he didn't need to spend his own money. He could even save 2,000 yuan every month from this 3,000. Leo even decided to save 2,000 yuan every month from now on to use for his university living expenses later. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, didn't want to say another word to the person in front of her. Seeing him agree, she got up. As she reached the door, her eyes fell on the item placed in a prominent spot. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, was stunned. It was the fruit Leo had originally intended to give her. The packaging had been removed, and inside wasn't a durian, but a grapefruit. The grapefruit peel was carved into a cute little bear shape, and it was filled with carefully peeled segments. It was very delicate and took a lot of effort. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, felt as if her earlier assumptions had been seen through by Leo, and a trace of guilt appeared in her heart. However, that trace of guilt quickly vanished. This Leo was an outsider after all. She wouldn't have any feeling. As for an outsider, let alone one who might compete with her, Olivia, for the family property. She truly couldn't understand what her husband was thinking, bringing such a big hidden danger into the Sterling household. At Northwood High School, after much inquiry, Kevin finally confirmed which class Olivia was in. He randomly stopped a female student and asked her to falsely tell Olivia that a teacher needed to see her. Kevin himself hid in the storage room. A few minutes later, the storage room door opened quietly. A girl in a white school uniform, with an elegant posture, entered the room. Her smooth, waist-length black hair fell naturally, and a few strands of hair gently framed her forehead, adding an unadorned softness to her appearance. Her eyes were clear and bright, always pure and calm, and a gentle yet subtle smile hung at the corner of her lips, giving people an impression that was both approachable and maintained a slight distance. Olivia looked around, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. Finally, her gaze fixed on the person in an inconspicuous corner. "Excuse me, is a teacher waiting for me here?" Olivia's voice was clear and pleasant, like a mountain stream. Kevin didn't rush to answer her. Instead, he walked to the door and locked it himself. "What are you doing?" Kevin turned around and looked at the girl in front of him, getting straight to the point. "Hello, Miss Sterling." Olivia's eyes showed surprise and confusion. "Who are you?" "My name is Kevin." Olivia searched her memory for this name and the face in front of her. She was certain she didn't know such a person. This made her more cautious. To have enough privacy and a normal life, since she started school, she had attended a regular school like any ordinary student, hiding her identity. Until high school, no one had discovered her secret. But the person in front of her. "Who are you? How do you know my identity?" "Of course, my Leo told me." "You're a Leo?" Olivia was increasingly confused. "You don't know yet? Your dad adopted my Leo and even plans to train him as his successor." To make his words credible, Kevin took out his phone and showed Olivia the photos he had secretly taken. The photos showed the wealthiest man leaving with Leo. Olivia frowned, looking at the person in front of her. She didn't believe her father would adopt a stranger without reason. "Why don't you call home and verify?" Hearing Kevin's words, Olivia felt a bit swayed. She took out her phone and called home. The phone was quickly answered. "Olivia, are you done with class? Let me tell you, your dad is truly confused. He adopted a son from outside." Before Olivia could even ask, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, had already blurted it all out. Olivia's expression turned serious. "It's getting late. Let's talk about it after school." Olivia hung up the phone. Kevin immediately spoke. "Now you believe me, right? Why did you come to see me?" Facing Olivia's question, Kevin sighed. "My Leo asked me to find you. He told me." Kevin put on a helpless expression. "To bully you." As soon as Kevin said this, Olivia immediately became wary. "Don't worry, I'm not that kind of person. I was forced." Kevin immediately explained himself. "Mr. Sterling initially wanted to adopt me. I had to allow him. He told me to find you. I didn't want to at first, but he said." Kevin trailed off, successfully piquing Olivia's curiosity. "What did he say?" "He said everything in the Sterling household will be yours anyway, and a girl, well, you're like water poured out, you won't inherit a penny of the Sterling family's wealth." Kevin saw Olivia clench her fists. "My Leo said. He said you're naive and easy to fool, and that you don't understand anything." I was so angry when I heard that. How could he say that about you? I think he still holds grudges against you, so I came here today to warn you. You should try to stay away from my Leo in the future. Last time, I saw him abuse a stray cat. If you provoke him, there's no telling what he might do. You mean? Olivia couldn't help but look disgusted. How could there be such a shameless person? Miss Sterling, please don't say I told you, otherwise, I don't know what my Leo will do to me and my mom. Kevin put on a pitiful face. Olivia looked at Kevin with sympathy. Don't worry, I won't let him do whatever he wants. Thank you for today. Watching Olivia walk away angrily, Kevin wore a smug expression. This is going to be good. Filled with troubled thoughts, Olivia rushed home immediately after school. She happened to run into Mr. Sterling, who was about to go out. Olivia didn't hold back and spoke directly. Dad, Mom said you adopted someone? Ah, Olivia, I was just about to tell you about this. Daughter, I support you doing good deeds, but don't you think this is too hasty? You haven't even gotten to know this person, and he's going to become part of our family? Mr. Sterling interrupted Olivia. Your dad does things after careful consideration. There's a reason why I'm doing this. Mr. Sterling's face was serious at this moment. Olivia knew her father's temper and knew that saying anything more when he was like this would be futile. Just then, Leo, who had come out of his room, heard the commotion downstairs. He looked down and saw a familiar figure. Asterisk is this. Olivia? She's only 18 now. Asterisk the excitement in his heart almost made him call out. He hadn't expected to see Olivia so young again. He truly missed it. Feeling depressed, Olivia sensed a warm gaze on her and looked up. She instantly saw the young man on the stairs. His figure was tall and slender, his face delicate and handsome, making one think of the phrase graceful young gentleman. Olivia felt a strange sense of familiarity. Realizing who this person was, she immediately understood. Asterisk right, this is Kevin's Leo. He must resemble him in some ways. That's why I feel familiar. Asterisk just then, Mr. Sterling followed Olivia's gaze and saw Leo. Leo, you're here at the right time. Let me introduce you. Mr. Sterling warmly gestured for Leo to come closer. This is my daughter, Olivia. From now on, she's your sister. Olivia, this is Leo. He's your Leo from now on. Olivia had a hint of displeasure on her face and was about to retort, but Leo spoke first. Miss Sterling, hello. Leo greeted her politely and humbly. Hearing Miss Sterling, Olivia was momentarily taken aback. Leo, you don't need to be so polite. Just call her sister. Olivia suggested with a smile. No, Miss Sterling will always be Miss Sterling. You adopted me, that's already a huge kindness, Leo insisted. Haha, alright. When you two get along better, you can change the address later. Mr. Sterling was quite pleased with Leo's humility and politeness. I still have things to handle. You two get to know each other. Mr. Sterling finished speaking and left, leaving Leo and Olivia standing there. Olivia looked at the person in front of her, thinking, asterisk he's not a good person. Otherwise, why is he looking at me so strangely, always looking at me and then quickly looking away, being sneaky, as if he's plotting something bad? Asterisk how could Olivia know Leo's current feelings? He desperately wanted to rush over and hug Olivia tightly, but he was her nominal Leo now. He couldn't do that. So, he could only try his best not to look at her. Miss Sterling, do you have any instructions? My Olivia, just say the word. Olivia was originally angry about what Kevin had told her and intended to confront him properly, but hearing his humble tone, half of her anger dissipated, leaving only a single sentence that blurted out, where do you go to school? I don't go to school. Olivia frowned. The person in front of her looked about the same age as her, probably someone who should be in high school. Asterisk you're not in school? You must not be a good person. Asterisk. Seeing Olivia frowning and thinking, Leo wanted to explain, but the public relations personnel responsible for training him arrived. Leo could only reluctantly leave with them. Mr. Sterling scheduled the press conference venue to announce his existence for the day after tomorrow. To be fully prepared for this press conference venue, Leo even thought about details like what to wear. If he dressed plainly, Mr. Sterling would be called stingy for not buying good clothes for his adopted son. If he dressed too well, he, the adopted son, would be called vain and attract negative attention. Facing the public, he had to be meticulous in every detail, like a chameleon. Besides this, he also had to consider unexpected situations. As Leo was thinking, his phone received a message. It was from Kevin. Leo, what are you doing now? If your dad doesn't plan to announce your existence to the public, that won't do. He said he'd train you as his successor, so the whole world should know. Don't be passive, be proactive. Otherwise, if he regrets it later, you'll be sorry. Seeing the message from Kevin, Leo wasn't surprised. He knew Kevin too well. Leo thought for a moment, then edited a text message and sent it back. Kevin, don't worry, the press conference venue to announce my existence will be held the day after tomorrow at Sterling Tower. Leo deliberately sent the time and location of the press conference venue to Kevin. It seemed there would be some unexpected events at this press conference venue. On the other side, Kevin looked at the message on his phone, a malicious smile appearing at the corner of his lips. Since you told me the time and location, just wait for the grand gift Kevin will give you the day after tomorrow. What gift? Who's giving a gift? Just then, Susan came downstairs and approached Kevin. After Leo left, all the chores at home fell on her, which made her back hurt terribly. Only by leaning forward like this could she get some relief. Kevin seemed oblivious to his mom's suffering and said, "Oh, right, Mom, I want to transfer to Northwood High School." "Northwood High School? I heard the tuition there is double that of regular schools. Why go to that school for no reason? Don't you want me to study hard? That school has much better teachers." But Susan still wanted to say something, but Kevin interrupted her. "No buts. The tuition is covered by the Sterling household anyway. Why wouldn't you agree?" Susan looked worried. "But the Sterling household doesn't cover living expenses. Living expenses at that school will double, too. Where am I supposed to get that money, Mom?" "I don't care. My son is going to be someone important in the future. If you don't give it to me, I won't be able to go. You figure it out." Kevin didn't care about anything else. Only by transferring to Northwood High School would he have more opportunities to interact with Olivia and make her fall for him. As long as he had Olivia, everything would be his. Susan still couldn't win against her son and agreed to let him transfer schools. After taking out her treasured stash and pulling strings to arrange admission at the school, she found there wasn't even enough money for this month's living expenses. "Kevin, what are we going to do? Mom can't go out and earn money in this condition." Kevin was getting annoyed and was about to chase her out of the room when he suddenly thought of something. "Mom, you're so silly. Don't you have another son?" With Kevin's reminder, Susan immediately thought of Leo. I raised him for so many years. Now that he's risen from rags to riches, it's time for him to repay me. Susan immediately took out her phone and called Leo. As soon as the call connected, Kevin snatched the phone and put it on speaker. "Hello, Mom." Leo's voice came from the phone. Susan immediately spoke. "Leo, how are things at the Sterling household?" On Leo's end of the phone, where they couldn't see, a cold smile flickered at the corner of his lips. He deliberately remained silent for a moment, then sighed, as if he had suffered a great injustice. He seemed to hear a very subtle laugh on the phone. Perhaps someone was gloating. Then, Susan's voice sounded again. "The Sterling household is a rich family. There must be more rules than at home. Be good and obedient." "Okay, Mom, I'll listen to you. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now." "Wait." Afraid Leo would hang up, Susan didn't waste any more words. "You know the situation at home. After you left, there was no one to do the chores. Mom's back hurts terribly, and how much does it cost to go to the hospital? Now we don't even have money for living expenses." At this point, Susan was practically asking Leo for money directly. Indeed, she only calls when she needs something. "Mom, you know I just arrived at the Sterling household. It's not appropriate to ask for money right now. How about this? You wait until I'm settled in the Sterling household and get some money. I'll transfer it to you right away, okay?" All right. Just transfer the money to Mom, then. Mom won't bother you anymore." Sure enough, upon hearing Leo say this, the person on the other end immediately stopped pestering him and hung up the phone. Memories flooded Leo's mind. In the previous life, Leo felt sorry for Susan and wanted to borrow some money from Kevin to take her to the hospital, but Kevin flatly refused, saying that as the son of the house of the Sterling household, he needed to maintain his status, and the Sterling household's money was tightly controlled, so he couldn't take any out. But Leo heard from the phone, "The entire bill tonight is on young Master Kevin. He would rather spend lavishly at a nightclub than spare them any money." Leo was forced to take on various dirty and tiring part-time jobs to earn money, but it still wasn't enough for Susan to go to the hospital. Later, when Susan became seriously ill, she blamed Leo for not taking her to the hospital sooner, giving him the reputation of being an unfilial son, while her younger son never visited her during her illness. Unexpectedly, in the will Susan made later, she left the only property to Kevin. Thinking of this, Leo felt as disgusted as if he had swallowed a fly. He wouldn't give them a single cent. Let them reap what they sowed. Early that morning, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, came downstairs from the escalator, looking weary, rubbing her head as she walked towards the kitchen. "Brenda, what's simmering in the pot?" Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, asked, then took a deep breath. She wondered if it was her imagination, but the smell seemed to relieve her headache. "Mrs. Sterling, it's nutritious porridge simmering in the pot. It has a calming and sleep-inducing effect. Please sit down, I'll serve you a bowl to try later." "Brenda, you're full of hidden talents. You even know about medicinal food?" Brenda just smiled and didn't answer. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, came to the dining room and saw Leo sitting there having breakfast. "Good morning, Mrs. Sterling." Leo put down what was in his hand, stood up from the chair, and respectfully greeted Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, gave him a cold look, thinking hypocrite. Then, she saw his breakfast, an egg and a cup of warm water. Eating so meagerly? Is he trying to make people think the Sterling household is mistreating him? Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, had good reason to suspect this kid was deliberately trying to gain sympathy in front of her. Just then, Brenda walked over with the nutritious porridge. Mrs. Sterling, you misunderstood. Young Master Leo's breakfast was made by himself. Brenda felt the gaze from across the table and didn't continue speaking. All right then, he can make his breakfast in the future. Brenda, you'll have an easier time, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, said while tasting the nutritious porridge. The taste was unexpectedly good. That morning, Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, who usually had no appetite, surprisingly drank 2 bowls of the nutritious porridge. Not having a habit of taking naps, she even went back to sleep. Brenda, who saw everything, gave Leo a thumbs up. Indeed, the nutritious porridge was made by Leo early in the morning. When Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, came down, he immediately slipped into the dining room. Young Master Leo, why didn't you let me tell Mrs. Sterling? Brenda didn't understand. Leo smiled and shook his head. Mrs. Sterling doesn't trust me yet. If I had said it was me, she would have thought I had ulterior motives. Brenda nodded. That's true. It's hard on you. Perhaps sharing the same impoverished background as Leo, Brenda felt a sense of familiarity when she first saw him. Mrs. Sterling is very kind. She's probably treating you like this for your good. Now she's my mother-in-law from a previous life. Leo knew her quite well. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, suffered from chronic headaches and would get headaches whenever she didn't sleep well. The recipe for this nutritious porridge was something he had learned from her in a previous life after she had a headache one night. He had put a lot of thought into this. He had also specifically instructed Brenda not to say it was his doing, wanting her to discover it herself, as that would have the biggest impact. His meager breakfast was also intentional, hoping that when she discovered the truth later, she would feel guilty and wish she could shout, "I deserve to die," in the middle of the night. Leo couldn't help but laugh to himself early that morning. Kevin had been waiting at the entrance of Northwood High School early in the morning. Finally, a familiar figure appeared. Olivia. He immediately ran up to her, then pretended to turn around casually. Ah, what a coincidence, Miss Sterling. Seeing Olivia make a shushing gesture, Kevin shut up. Olivia leaned closer and whispered, "Don't reveal my identity." "Okay, can I call you Olivia then?" Olivia found it strange hearing this person call her by her name, and also feared he would reveal her identity, so she nodded. Olivia's silent agreement instantly energized Kevin. She agreed to let me call her by her first name so intimately. It seems winning her over is just a matter of time. Oh, right, I have a question for you. Kevin's eyes lit up. They say when you like someone, you get curious about them. Could it be, why isn't your Leo in school anymore? Kevin's face immediately darkened when he heard Olivia mention Leo. Leo again. He ruins everything everywhere. Kevin's resentment towards Leo deepened in his heart because he felt studying was useless. Olivia's face showed a puzzled expression. Kevin sighed, then said, "He said no matter how much you study, you'll end up working for rich people anyway. Now that he's already rich, he doesn't need to study at all." Seeing the disgusted look on Olivia's face, Kevin's mood finally improved. "Leo, you deserve to be hated by everyone, but Olivia, that's my Leo's idea. I don't think that way at all. I think knowledge is priceless." While distancing himself from Leo, Kevin also seized the opportunity to portray himself as someone who loved studying in front of Olivia. Hearing him, Olivia asked casually, "Are your grades good?" "Of course." A touch of unnaturalness appeared on Kevin's face. Olivia liked the top students, so he had to bite the bullet and admit it. He believed that if even someone like Leo could be a top student, he was 10,000 times smarter than Leo. With a little effort, he could easily surpass him. "If you have any difficulties with your studies, you can come find me," Kevin said eagerly. "Studying together is a great way to build a relationship." "No need, thank you. I'll go to class now." Olivia politely refused, and Kevin left. Kevin, rejected, looked at Olivia with a hint of slyness in his eyes. "You little bitch, you're cold to me now, but later I'll make you fall completely in love with me." Brenda, is my dad home? Olivia asked about her father as soon as she got home from school, without even putting down her backpack. "Mr. Sterling is in the study right now." Olivia immediately ran to the study. Upon entering, she saw her father buried in documents. "Dad." Olivia looked up, her face tired. "Olivia, you're back." Olivia went to Mr. Sterling's side and eagerly massaged his shoulders. "Dad, you must be very tired lately." "When am I not tired? You're Dad." Mr. Sterling saw through her little trick at a glance. "All right, what do you want?" Olivia started to act spoiled. "Oh, Dad, can't I just be worried about you?" All right, my daughter has grown up and knows to care about her dad." Olivia was embarrassed and no longer hid her intentions, starting to speak directly. "Dad, didn't you want me to get along well with the person you adopted? I want him to come to my school and attend with me." Olivia proposed this request largely because of what Kevin had told her. He doesn't want to go to school? I'll make him go to school. This would also make it easier for her to keep an eye on him and observe what kind of person he was. Leo has other things to do. Olivia hadn't expected her usually doting father to refuse even this request. Her eyes darted around, and she started to use a softer approach. For so many years, to hide my identity, I've always gone to and from school alone. I envied others who went with friends. I even fantasized about having a Leo to accompany me. That way, he could also protect me. As soon as Olivia said this, she saw the tenderness in her father's eyes, which made her feel hopeful. Just let him accompany me? Olivia, all right. Then I'll have him pick you up and drop you off at school every day. As for studying, let's not talk about that anymore. Mr. Sterling had relented, but only halfway. Leo came out just in time to see Olivia in the living room. He immediately ran over. Leo turned around instantly upon hearing the sound. Seeing Leo's intense gaze, Olivia's words got stuck in her throat, and her face inexplicably flushed. Miss Sterling, do you have any instructions? My Olivia, just say the word. Olivia was still angry about what Kevin had told her and originally wanted to confront him properly, but hearing his humble tone, most of her anger dissipated, leaving only a single sentence that blurted out, "You'll pick me up and drop me off at school every day from now on." Olivia finished speaking and made a gesture with 2 fingers pointing at her eyes, meaning she would be keeping a close eye on him from now on. Then she walked away confidently, leaving Leo standing there unsettled. What did he just say? Just then, Mr. Sterling's phone rang. After answering the phone, Leo finally understood the whole story. My Olivia is something. She managed to get him permission to accompany her to and from school. Thinking that he would have more time to spend with Olivia in the future, Leo felt a surge of joy in his heart. However, there wasn't much time for happiness now. The press conference venue was scheduled for tomorrow. He had to hurry and prepare. After school, Kevin found a secluded spot and started calling media outlets one by one. Hello, is this Oriental Media? I have a huge scandal about the wealthiest man here, guaranteed to go viral. Come to Sterling Tower at 9 tomorrow morning. Hello, Peacock Media? After making calls, Kevin received confirmation from 5 media outlets that they would come tomorrow. Leo, are you ready to receive the grand gift I've prepared? Thinking of how Leo would be ruined after tomorrow, Kevin happily ate 3 bowls of rice and was so excited that he barely slept all night. He arrived at Sterling Tower early in the morning and waited. By 9 o'clock, after the 5 media outlets arrived, Kevin began his performance. Originally, the wealthiest man was going to adopt me, his top student, Kevin, but my Leo. Kevin repeated the same story he had told Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, and Olivia to the media. Hearing that Leo had abused his mother and threatened Kevin just to become rich, the media were both angry and excited. Such a story was guaranteed to go viral. Kevin said everything bad he could think of, painting Leo as a scumbag among scumbags. Someone who couldn't listen anymore spoke up. What kind of judgment does this wealthiest man have to adopt such a degenerate? Kevin quickly explained, you can't blame Mr. Sterling. My Leo is too good at pretending. Mr. Sterling was also fooled. At school, he also acts politely and gently. Almost no one knows his true nature. It's just a pity for Mr. Sterling's good intentions. He'll even hold a press conference venue here later to announce my Leo's existence and even said he'll train him as his successor. As soon as these words came out, the media immediately became agitated. Can this kind of person become the wealthiest man's successor? Kevin immediately continued, so, I really couldn't bear it any longer, which is why I thought of coming to you for help. Do we need a pass to get in here? We don't have one. Kevin immediately patted his chest. No problem, I have a way. Kevin led the group into the building, then took them through a hidden passage to the place where the press conference venue was about to be held. There wasn't much time left before the press conference venue began. To avoid running into acquaintances, Kevin gave the media a few instructions and prepared to leave. Just as he reached the building lobby, he saw many media personnel rushing in. The entrance was full of people. Kevin could only stand aside and wait. After these people had passed, Kevin went to the entrance. Just then, a Rolls-Royce Phantom stopped right at the entrance, and a familiar figure got out of the car. Kevin was startled and was about to run to the side when a voice sounded behind him. Kevin, is that you? Leo strode over quickly and grabbed Kevin, who was trying to escape. Just then, Mr. Sterling also came up. Caught, Kevin could only force a smile onto his face. Mr. Sterling, Leo, what a coincidence to run into you here. It is quite a coincidence. It's not the weekend today, so shouldn't you be in school? Leo asked Kevin with a look of feigned confusion. He hadn't gone to drop off Olivia at school today because of the press conference venue, and Mr. Sterling knew this. You didn't cut class, did you? Leo's words immediately drew Mr. Sterling's attention to Kevin. Kevin immediately became nervous. Leo, what are you talking about? How could I cut class? Afraid of leaving a bad impression on Mr. Sterling, Kevin quickly made up a lie. I'm not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was just about to go home. This is the opposite direction of home. Why did you come here? This stumped Kevin. Before he could come up with another excuse, Leo spoke first. Leo walked towards him and said with an understanding look, I know, Kevin, you came here specifically for me, didn't you? Kevin visibly panicked at being found out by Leo, but he absolutely couldn't admit it. Leo, what are you talking about? Kevin planned to use the feigned ignorance tactic to get away. Just then, Leo spoke again. Kevin, stop pretending. I know you are. Just as Kevin's eyes were about to pop out, Leo's words took a turn. You knew about my press conference venue today, so you came here specifically to support your Leo, didn't you? Good kid, you're so good to your Leo, I'm touched. Leo put his arm around Kevin and patted his back vigorously, his face full of happiness. Kevin was caught off guard and didn't dare deny it. Although you've been adopted by Mr. Sterling now, we are still brothers. It's what brothers do. Kevin glanced nervously at Mr. Sterling. Mr. Sterling saw he deep bond between the two brothers and showed a pleased look. Kevin is thoughtful. Praised by Mr. Sterling, Kevin immediately forgot his earlier nervousness and became smug. Asterisk, it's only right between them. Aren't you going to the press conference venue? Don't delay. I'll leave now. Asterisk, before Kevin could finish, Leo immediately interrupted him. He turned to Mr. Sterling. Dad, since my Kevin came here specifically, we can't just let him wait outside. Can we bring him to the press conference venue with us? Of course, you can bring him in with you. With permission from Mr. Sterling, Leo didn't care whether Kevin was willing or not and put his arm around him. Seeing that he couldn't turn back now, Kevin thought, asterisk, well, it doesn't matter. Everything is already arranged anyway. I can even watch the show from the audience, asterisk. Thinking this, a smug smile unconsciously appeared at the corner of Kevin's lips. This did not escape Leo's notice. Leo raised an eyebrow. Asterisk, he still cares about his brother, Kevin. It's just a shame that his Leo can't grant his wish. Asterisk. Leo was led by the staff to his designated seat, while Kevin sat in the back, not far away. Mr. Sterling also sat beside Leo. The people sitting below were some of the reliable media outlets Mr. Sterling had arranged. But as soon as Leo entered, he immediately spotted a few people in the back. These people were looking at him with malicious intent, and they weren't wearing passes. A smile appeared on Leo's face. It seems the press conference venue later will be very interesting. Soon, the press conference began. The host read the opening remarks according to the script and introduced the topic. Today, Mr. Sterling of Sterling Group is going to announce a major piece of news to the public. The spotlight focused on Mr. Sterling. Mr. Sterling spoke calmly into the microphone. Thank you for the media's attendance. The purpose of holding this press conference venue today is to publicly introduce my son. As soon as Mr. Sterling said this, all the media personnel below became excited. Mr. Sterling, as the wealthiest man, had a well-known family structure. Mrs. Sterling, Eleanor, often participated in various charity activities and was a famous philanthropist. Although their children had always been well protected and their photos and information hadn't been leaked, they had publicly stated they had one child, and it was a girl. When did another son appear? Just as everyone was speculating, Mr. Sterling spoke again. Please don't misunderstand. This son is adopted. After this explanation, the media suddenly understood. When they learned of his identity, they were filled with admiration for Mr. Sterling. He adopted the orphan child of a common hero who tragically died saving someone. The wealthiest man is truly the wealthiest man. His generosity is immense. Mr. Sterling then introduced Leo beside him to everyone. Leo, say a few words to everyone. All eyes immediately focused on Leo. Hello everyone, I am the child adopted by Mr. Sterling. My name is Leo. Leo began, after my biological father tragically died a hero saving someone, the burden of the family suddenly fell on my frail mother. Leo's eyes welled up with tears. I am deeply grateful to Mr. Sterling for being able to adopt me. He stood up and bowed deeply to Mr. Sterling. Child, from now on, I am your father. Mr. Sterling looked at Leo, his eyes seemingly filled with affection. This was supposed to be a heartwarming and touching scene, but some people in the audience were stirring. Leo, can I ask you a few questions? Leo wiped the corners of his eyes, sat down, and remained calm. Here it comes, please ask. We heard that Mr. Sterling originally intended to adopt your Kevin. Did you snatch this opportunity from your Kevin? As soon as this question was asked, the entire venue fell silent. All eyes were fixed on Leo. Sitting to the side, Kevin was incredibly excited. Asterisk. Leo, are you sweating bullets at this question? Prepare for the storm. Asterisk. However, when Leo, the person concerned, heard this question, he didn't show the panic everyone expected. There was even a faint smile on his face. That's an excellent question, and it gives me a chance to thank someone, Leo said. And in the puzzled gazes of the crowd, he stood up. He walked to the back and pulled out Kevin, who was sitting there. At this moment, Kevin looked confused. Leo, what are you? Kevin, come with me. Leo used a force that wouldn't allow refusal and pulled him to his seat. Then, he spoke into the microphone with deep emotion. The person I want to thank is my Kevin, Kevin. Kevin couldn't figure out what his Leo was up to. Regarding the question that was just asked, Mr. Sterling did indeed initially intend to adopt my Kevin, Kevin. Leo's words caused an uproar. Everyone was surprised that he would admit this openly. Leo spoke again, and his next words stunned everyone. But my Kevin is very sensible, very filial, and he is the most selfless person I have ever met. He generously gave this opportunity to me in front of Mr. Sterling. Leo's praise for Kevin left the media below bewildered. What was supposed to be a sibling rivalry had taken a strange turn. Moreover, facing the question just asked, although Leo didn't deny it, his answer was telling everyone that the adoption opportunity wasn't snatched by him, but given to him by Kevin. That is, there was no snatching involved. At this moment, Kevin was also stunned. What is Leo trying to do? Leo hadn't stopped praising Kevin yet. I can say that my Kevin is the best Kevin in the world. Leo's barrage of flattery left Kevin dizzy. Although it was all praise, he faintly felt something was wrong with these words and didn't know how to refute them. Should I jump out and say my Leo is lying, that I'm not that kind of person? Seeing Kevin's face turn pale, then green, Leo laughed inwardly. RDLY. Asterisk my dear Kevin, don't you love saying the opposite of what you mean? Leo will make those opposite words come true. Asterisk Leo had deliberately informed Kevin of the time and location of the press conference venue to lure him here. He had also arrived early to catch him and bring him to the press conference venue so he could begin his performance. Having lived 2 lives, he understood human nature too well. I am truly grateful to Kevin for giving me the adoption opportunity. Are there any other questions you would like to ask me? At this point, the media below were a bit at a loss, especially the few media outlets Kevin had brought. They had prepared several sharp questions to expose this person's hypocrisy, but his recent performance had made their prepared questions useless. However, being experienced professionals, they managed to come up with something. Okay, ask them one by one. It's undeniable that your going away took away Kevin's opportunity to change his fate. Don't you feel guilty? Kevin, who had been at a loss for what to do, immediately seized the opportunity when he heard this question and spoke up. As long as Leo can live a life of wealth and luxury, it doesn't matter what happens to me. His Kevin. This sensible Kevin, Leo sneered inwardly. This move immediately created a stark contrast. Asterisk look, this is brotherly love. Kevin is truly incredible. He is willing to endure everything for his Leo. With such a Kevin, Leo must have accumulated blessings over several lifetimes. If only Leo were half as sensible as his Kevin. Asterisk Kevin's words draped him in a layer of sanctity, portraying him as a selfless person, a great image of someone willing to sacrifice himself. And Leo became the selfish Leo who enjoyed the fruits of Kevin's sacrifice. Seeing that things were finally developing in the direction he wanted, Kevin suddenly felt relieved. He glanced at Leo sideways. Leo, you're quite eloquent, aren't you? Why aren't you saying anything in? Ow! Leo naturally felt Kevin's triumphant gaze. He sighed deeply. My good Kevin. You're truly too. Mr. Sterling, I'm sorry. I didn't discuss this with you beforehand. At this moment, Mr. Sterling looked confused by Leo's actions. Leo reached out and grabbed Kevin's hand, raising it. Compared to my Kevin's selflessness, his Leo, was indeed too selfish. Therefore, I am willing to give the adoption opportunity back to my Kevin, in front of everyone. Leo's action stunned the entire venue, especially Kevin. He looked at Leo in disbelief. Leo, are you crazy? Leo shook his head. I'm serious. I'm the Leo. I should take care of my Kevin. How can Kevin yield to Leo? As for the difficult path of studying, let me walk it. Leo emphasized the word studying when he said it. This immediately stimulated Kevin. Thinking of his miserable experiences in the previous life, he became agitated. Asterisk the outcome of being adopted was truly terrible. Only by studying can one become the ultimate winner. Asterisk no, I don't want to be adopted. I want to study. Kevin fiercely shook off Leo's hand. Having been reborn, he had finally chosen the right path. Asterisk does he want me to repeat the same mistake? Impossible. Asterisk Kevin's strong reaction puzzled everyone. Kevin, don't be foolish. Mr. Sterling is the wealthiest man. Being adopted by him is a golden opportunity. Others also echoed Leo's words. Becoming the wealthiest man's son means you won't have to worry about anything for the rest of your life. Kevin also realized his reaction just now was too abnormal. He said calmly, Leo, I'm serious too. Besides, how can something that's already decided be changed? This would also be disrespectful to Mr. Sterling. He even brought up Mr. Sterling, showing how much he truly didn't want to be adopted. Leo looked helpless and continued to persuade him. Kevin, you need to think carefully. This is your chance to change your life. This is a decision I've made. After careful consideration, Kevin still insisted on his choice. Oh, my foolish Kevin. Will you not regret this later? Not. I can guarantee it to all the media present. Hearing Kevin's words, Leo was ecstatic inside. Now Kevin can never use the adoption matter against me again. All right then. Leo can only respect your decision. Leo looked at the media below with a helpless expression, as if saying he hadn't stolen the life that belonged to Kevin, it was the life Kevin didn't want. Leo immediately apologized to Mr. Sterling beside him. "Dad, I hope you can forgive your son's actions just now." Mr. Sterling waved his hand. "I naturally understand your deep brotherly bond. Do any of you have any other questions for me?" Mr. Sterling asked the media again. This time, no one came forward. Unable to get anything from Leo, some people turned their attention to Mr. Sterling. "Mr. Sterling, can we ask you a few questions?" Facing the media's request, Mr. Sterling also generously agreed. "Mr. Sterling, we heard you plan to train this adopted son as your successor. Is that true? Can you trust such a large company to an outsider?" Leo's expression darkened slightly at this question. Just then, Leo spoke first. "Excuse me, I'd like to say a few words about this question." Without waiting for the media's permission, Leo spoke on his own. "Before I was adopted, the name Mr. Sterling was already well known to me. I thought such a prominent figure would be distant and aloof, but that's not the case." Leo spoke from his heart, recounting a half-true, half-false story. In his narrative, he portrayed Mr. Sterling as an approachable person with great kindness and love. He spoke with sincerity and earnestness, making it impossible to see any falsehood. "To everyone else, he is the wealthiest man, but to me, he is just my father. He continues the love my biological father had for me, and my adoptive father has also proven with his actions that he doesn't treat him as an outsider. This press conference venue, held for me, is the best proof. Therefore, the question you asked is not valid." Leo's emotional speech even brought tears to the eyes of some of the more sensitive women in the audience. Mr. Sterling led the applause. "Well said. Worthy of being my child." Instantly, everyone was applauding, and people looked at Leo with admiration. Seeing Leo resolve the difficulty once again and steal the spotlight, Kevin was furious inside. He frantically motioned to the few media outlets he had brought, wanting them to ask more questions. But Mr. Sterling had noticed the people who asked the questions. He had arranged for reliable media. How could they ask embarrassing questions out of turn? Mr. Sterling turned to the assistant beside him. The assistant immediately understood. He scanned the crowd and found that these people did not have passes. The assistant immediately took 2 people down. "Where are your entry passes? Which media outlets are you from?" It was a chaotic scene as people tried to escort them out. Leo sat above, watching the show, and also saw Kevin's unwilling expression. After the media who had snuck in were removed, Mr. Sterling said, "You can continue to ask questions, but if anyone asks malicious questions that hurt the relationship between me and my son, I will not tolerate it." Although Mr. Sterling said this with a smile, the media personnel below felt a chill down their spines. Please, this is the wealthiest man. Who would dare offend him? The media below kept their mouths tightly shut, fearing they might say something wrong. Seeing that no one was asking questions, the host took over the topic. Soon, the press conference concluded smoothly. Some were happy, others were sad. Leo looked at Kevin's pale face and pretended to be surprised. "Kevin, are you alright? Why do you look so unwell?" Kevin forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I'm fine. Are you really alright? Does something hurt? I see you're clenching your teeth tightly, your jaw muscles are bulging." There was a hint of playfulness in Leo's words. He knew how much resentment Kevin felt at this moment, like a provoked beast, gnashing his teeth and hating him. Their conversation caught the attention of Mr. Sterling, who was in front of them. "Do you need someone to take you to the hospital?" "No need, Mr. Sterling." At this moment, he was lightheaded with anger and just wanted to leave quickly. "Since the press conference venue is over, I need to go back to school to study. Goodbye, Mr. Sterling." Without waiting for a reply, Kevin hurried away, disappearing from sight. Seeing this, Leo didn't say anything more. He turned around and reached out, patting Mr. Sterling's shoulder with satisfaction. "You did very well just now. It was all because Dad is farsighted and arranged for people to train me. If it weren't for that, I might not have known what to do." Leo attributed the credit to Mr. Sterling. The smile on Mr. Sterling's face grew wider. "Do you have a driver's license?" Leo shook his head. "I'll arrange for someone to help you prepare for the test. Once you get your license, I'll give you a sports car as a reward." "Thank you, Dad." This conversation happened to reach Kevin's ears, who had not gone far. He froze upon hearing it, nearly stumbling. A sports car? He's actually going to give him a sports car. The fire of jealousy in Kevin's heart blazed fiercely, almost consuming him. Recalling the previous life, after the press conference venue, Mr. Sterling didn't even give him a good look, let alone a car. "Leo, how dare you?" Kevin clenched his fists, his knuckles cracking. His expression, on the verge of madness, suddenly twisted into a chilling smile. "Leo, you think you're safe just because you escaped this time? I have countless ways to make your life miserable. Leo, we have a long way to go,